Massey, I've got $1 million inheritance and I need your help to put this money to work. 3 most common reasons why families end up with large amounts of money. Number 1, they sell a property. Number 2, they get an insurance payout. Or number 3, they get an inheritance. Here's how we help the TMAP student grow their $1 million inheritance. Often get approached by students who've come into a bit of cash. That normally happens for a few different reasons. One could be the liquidation of an asset. So they've sold a property and now they've got a bucket of cash. 2, it could be that they have received, insurance is a big one. So insurance payouts aren't uncommon. For whatever reason, people can get insurance claims or whatever, so they can get a decent payout from that. And then the third one is inheritance. So we've had a few of the inheritance ones come up recently, and how those conversations are is, hey Massey, it's been a little while. Look, we've come into some inheritance. We've got some money now. We've got about $1 million or so that's come to us from an inheritance, and we kind of want to put that money to work. Their goal is to, obviously grow the inheritance, but the real goal is, how do they honor their parents? How do they honor dad? And make sure that, I can do the most from what he's given us as a head start. So, these conversations, they're always, super high value. People are very receptive. The conversation that I had most recently, when we kind of drilled down a bit, there really was only 2 outcomes we're after. 1, how do we grow the inheritance? How do we put the money to work and kind of get the money working for us and get the money into assets and get the money into different strategies that can grow the money? But the other thing we realize is we need to look at these students are business owners, and they need to look at growing their own business and growing the revenue inside of their business. So how do we do both of those things at the same time? So one of the things I kind of caution them against, because they've got this $1 million, and sometimes business owners are like, I've got the money, let's spend the money on growing the business. And so I kind of cautioned him against that, because I was like, well, you've grown your business multiple times and it's never been through a large injection of capital. Why would this time be any different? Don't spend the money just because you've got the money, convincing yourself that you're serious about the business, so you want to put the money back into the business. No. That's not what we're looking at here. It's what have you done previously that's always worked for you to be able to grow the business, and let's duplicate that. Now, if investing capital has been the way that you've grown the business previously, well then yeah, let's duplicate that. But for this guy, for his business, that was not the case. It was just successful strategic relationships. So, and that doesn't cost money, that costs time, effort, and connections. So let's just keep doing that. He was thinking about putting $150K of cash into the business to grow the business. We got that number all the way down to $10,000. That's it. When you understand what's been successful, continue to do that, and don't change that just because you get an injection of capital in the business. And then reverting back to, Massey, how do we kind of employ? Now the challenge was his business income had dropped, so his serviceability had been kind of hampered a bit. Obviously, the long-term goal is to buy the dream home so the family can go in and make memories and live there for the rest of their lives. But right now, that's not a possibility, even with the amount of cash that they've got, because they live in Sydney, so the dream home, whatever, it's going to cost a lot of money. So what we need to do is grow the personal income, grow the business income and the personal income, and in the meantime, grow the cash asset. So then we're saying, well, what strategies can we use without getting a loan to buy property? Well, that kind of narrows the field a bit. So we were looking at investment strategies, and then we were also looking at, option deals. Deals where you can make money off property that you don't own. We've got a good amount of cash, we can employ those assets, execute that, and kind of get this project moving and grow the money. So, it's gonna take at least a good 12 months to get the business revenue up to a level where the banks will accept that revenue. So in the meantime, we've got to put the money to work. We want to grow the amount of money. And the biggest mistake I see is when people come into cash, they leave so much of the cash just sitting in cash. Cash is the worst return on investment. You're looking at, 2%, like it's nothing, if that. So we have to deploy the funds and put them into multiple investments where we're making money off property that we don't own. We're using investment strategies, and we're also using option deal strategies. And by employing these successfully, the student can grow the nest egg, which is their inheritance, whilst they grow their income to be able to get, you know, that beautiful dream home that they'll buy once they've got a good enough borrowing capacity. So, you know, let's increase it. And then the other thing is invest it at a level that you're comfortable with. So, you know, if there's $1 million, you probably won't be comfortable deploying the whole $1 million. So what's the number you feel comfortable? You still got to sleep at night. So what does that number look and feel like for you? And then let's get that money put to work. We need to do that sooner rather than later, because just sitting in the bank, inflation is eating your money. It's going down in value, and you've got to be smart and you've got to put that money to work. Much love, whānau. Peace out. A-Town.